Man doesn't speak the language and has no money. 9 months at an airport abroad. Take a bath in the laundry sink. Sleep in a chair in the departure lounge. Yesterday Victor came to America with his father's will. I didn't expect to be detained. Immediately after getting off the plane, the director told him the coup had taken place in his own country. He can't enter the country until it's stable and I can't go home. In addition to his passport and his bank card, and currently is not available here. He doesn't understand English. No matter what the supervisor said. They just smile and say yes. It's not clear what happened. He was taken out of the office. The security guard gave him some meal vouchers and phone cards and sent him in the terminal. And that's when he saw the news of his country on TV. Not knowing English, he had to rush around for help. He wanted someone to tell him what had happened, but no one cared at all. So he ran to the VIP terminal, read the report on the state of the country, finally realized what he was going through. Thinking about calling home. But he had to use the phone card and asking for help. No one paid any attention to the port ranger, a night. He found another city boarding date, took out the tools in the bag and discounted the chair. The problem of dinning they were solved in the bathroom at the airport the next day and solved the problem of parting. He counted the meal vouchers. See, the girl next door can't quote the 2 case craze the voucher off the floor when you come for his help. Before he picked it up, he was thrown into trash and by unclean he had no choice but to eat some free biscuit. The supervisor saw him wandering around the airport in pajamas. Surprised he hadn't left the airport, then deliberately told him 12-0. New security value change. He wants Victor in custody for a legal entry. But what he didn't think was Victor wasn't fooled at all and said to the camera, I'm waiting. Meeting victim every day is really not enough to eat. Victor looks at the leftovers. The mind starts to have set over, but it's ready to eat. See, someone returned the baggage cart and get the coin. So he decided to collect some carts, and when they returned it, they got the coin. It was these coins that gave Victor his confidence. He then used the money via hamburger and last week had a good meal. With a way to make money, he began to collect cars every day. The machine keeps spinning out. Coins also evolved from cookies' intellectual packaging. In order to read the news as quickly as possible, he took advantage of the airport as a to learn English. After a while he can probably read on TV already. As he slowly adjusted flight to the airport. Dinner reminded supervisor arranged a special baggage cart collector. He lost his John and Victor came home from low spirits only to find someone waiting for him in the United States. There was a man wandering around in his pajamas because of the country's poop. He was left at the airport. No money, without language. None of this made him both life. Instead, he found his own way of living. Shelley found him today. Shelley had a crush on Xiaohei, a beautiful woman at the front desk. In return for free food, he needs Victor to help him find out. So he ran forward every day, up her about her interest and then transferred. He's learned Shelley. With Victor's help, Shelley succeeded in getting the beauty back. This day, Victor met at your desk. May at the airport. From what she says on the phone, I have a problem with her lover. He came forward and put the two after a conversation. May is getting happier. To have dinner with Victor. Without money or entry, he had no choice but to refuse. He hoped the next time he met Xiaomi she would be able to pay for dinner. So he started looking for work. At the airport, but every store turned him down. No one would hire a man on unknown origin. The night he came upon an unbuilt wall, look at the airbag wall and the tool beside it. Victor went about his business listening to the music, crushing and dumping it aside from Dark Town. The next day, the former looked in astonishment. The victim's painted walls full of praise for his partnership. The high Victor to join his team and a high salary of $19 an hour with a steady income and new friends. At first, the cleaning lady thought he was a spy. To reassure him, they gave Victoria a necklace. Since then, they have become friends to talk about everything. The director learned Victor not only had a job even higher than their own wage. Curious, he locked Victoria in a small room. Until this day, the director was in trouble. An Eastern European can't get through customs holding a knife to his neck, threatening to kill himself without syringe. No one understood what he was asking. The director had no choice but to get Victor, she or my father. These Europeans need to bring home a few bottles of medicine. But he doesn't have the paperwork and the drugs are being held. No matter how much Victor and East Europeans included. None of the indifferent executives said yes. The desperate Mandela, down to his supervisor, asked the supervisor permission to take the method. The supervisor still shook his head. Once again, Eastern Europeans became very excited. Several security guard the bridge, take him out of uniform, watch him be taken away, and Victor called the crowd. He said he hadn't heard him just now. The method reported the ghost by the man because the drugs you bring can also require documentation. The director tour province ideas. He asked these Europeans can they bought the medicine to. These Europeans know what victim means, saying it goes to one. According to the regulations, the supervisor can only let him take the mission away. The director threw his anger at Victor and grabbed Victor by the neck. Put him on the printer, claiming that he must be sent to prison. The scene was seen by the old white man. Old White told the airport staff about his feat. The next day, Victor went to the airport, found that every own park juice has changed, every sword has copy picker taped to his hands. Everyone greeted him with a tile. Victor's action yesterday made him a hero at the airport. This matter also completely enraged with Erica. He told Victor as long as he was here one day, Victor will not be allowed to enter the United States. Man was stuck at the airport for 9 months. In the meantime, he not only got a well-paid job and I got to know a beautiful town with the income, Victor finally summoned up a courage to meet Xiao Mei. In the course of waiting, he asked if Leo I had ever been married. Leo told him that he had a wife and 2 daughters in India. He used to run a small tobacco shop. But unscrupulous police officers come to Saw every day collect protection money. He cannot bear to use a knife to barrel the police. If he goes back, he faces 7 years in prison. So he's been stuck at the airport for 23 years. And that's when May got off the plane. His friends made him a chance encounter. Let nature take her course and have dinner with her. They spent the night in romance. Make an appointment and see you next time. And the appointed time. Victor did not wait for her. Turns out I suspect off the plane and was taken away by someone from her supervisor. He told her about Victor, the duty who feels cheated and really questioning Victor's real purpose in the United States. He says his father was a jazz fan. He's loved the band for 40 years and got the signatures of 56 musicians. Only one man short though his father is dead. But he wanted to help his father fulfill his will. The next morning, Victor was woken up by his friends. His country's civil war ended and he regained his freedom. His friends at the airport celebrated the evening. Everyone was happy for Victor. May also got him an emergency leader for the day he was finally able to enter the country. But when he came to the front desk, he was told he needed a supervisor's signature. How could the director sign his name? He threatened Victor to return home immediately, or he'll fire the friends at the airport. In particular to repatriate the layer by back to India. Victor had no choice but say yes. When Albay learned of this, he called him a context of after he left. People around him told Mali why he had returned to China. Soon ridiculous plane will be landing. But suddenly he found that the security guards at the airport were running by hell outside. He got up and scored a while to rush into the plane with a mock, although the footholding may look very firm. Such a dangerous act, and everybody's watching this with a lot of pension. Fortunately, he managed to stop the plane. Said Victor, turning and smiling. I'm going home. Come off. The old white is willing to be returned for him. Victor also made up his mind to enter the country in the company of friends. He strode towards the airport gate. The news that he wanted to enter the country soon spread throughout the airport. People came from everywhere to give him West incentive. The two visor who saw this equates a range of security in steps. Victor went to the door. The security guard is standing in a line. See the door behind me? It's the door to New York. Please turn around. Right after Victor turned in disappointment, the captain made an astonishing move. It's snowing outside. You'll need it. Good luck. It took 9 months. Victor finally set foot on American soil. He could finally help his father fulfill his will. He came to a bar in New York. Found a laugh while the musician got a hard one. Signature.